first of a series of tapes on improving communication in marriage. Participating in the award-winning program called Couple Communication. Developed by Dr. Sherrod Miller, Daniel Wackman, and Elam Nunnally, the program teaches a variety of skills to help you and your partner become better communicators and build a better marriage. Up until now, the only way you could participate in the program was by joining a couple communication group, as over 100,000 couples did. But now you can experience couple communication on your own by using these tapes and the accompanying book, Talking Together.
Communication is more than just talking to one another. It's more even getting ideas across. I think it's cooperating. And I think a couple, sometimes to communicate, they have to have a commitment. They have to have a commitment that this is going to work no matter what.
Good communication means that you can talk openly with one another, and that when your partner says something to you and it isn't what you particularly want to hear, that you remain calm and talk about it and try to understand.
I think that if there's any doubt whatsoever whether or not you're fully communicating, I think the thing to do is right then stop, take time out, and talk about it.
A marriage can't go on if you don't have time to talk to each other.
Few things are more important to a good marriage than the words we speak and how they are spoken.
In this first tape, we'll look at the different ways that couples talk to each other, and we'll tell you more about them in just a moment.
Then in tape 2, we'll introduce you to the awareness wheel and some skills that will help you know what to say and how to say it when there's an important matter that needs to be discussed with your partner.
In tape 3, we'll suggest some ways you can listen to and understand your partner better.
And then in tape 4, we'll put all these skills together and help you learn to use them to solve problems, to deal with important issues and build intimacy.
By learning to communicate effectively, husbands and wives will be able to resolve the day-to-day concerns that arise in all of our lives.
But too often, couples can't communicate, and they let little issues grow into big problems that cause unhappiness.
That's right. And it's so unnecessary. Research has shown that if couples want to, they can learn communication skills that will make their relationship better, whether they were married yesterday or 30 years ago.
Over the next few weeks, we'd like you to listen to each of the tapes in this program, read Talking Together, and complete several exercises at the end of each chapter.
This program is most effective for those who want to change a new approach and follow a few suggestions. In fact, we've seen some husbands and wives who want their partners to do all the changing. But the program never really works as well for them.
That's right. The most important thing is your attitude. Now let's look at the ways couples talk to each other. The content of conversations, what couples talk about, varies tremendously. However, the style of communication, how couples talk, varies much less. Yet both aspects, content and style, what and how, have a major impact on the couple's communication and on their relationship.
In this tape, we'll look at all 4 styles of talking and their usefulness in different situations.
Let's begin by listening to some examples of Style 1.
Marge called today.
Oh, did she? What'd she have to say?
She just wanted to know if we were coming over on Saturday night.
Let's see, yeah. I think I had that in my calendar.
Marge told me the funniest story about the Harrelsons next door.
Oh, on the south?
Right.
Yeah, they are.
Hilarious. I'll have to tell you about it.
Yeah.
You guys hear the story about the eye doctor that moved to Alaska?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he wanted to become an optical illusion. Instead, all he did was just make a spectacle of himself.
It's terrible.
Style 1 is the sociable style. We also call it small talk. You may have noticed from our examples that it's a friendly, ordinary, sometimes playful style.
Yes. Style 1 is the kind of style you'd use in everyday chit-chat, greeting people and joking. It's also used in everyday planning, exchanging information, and keeping informed. While small talk is useful when you want to be friendly, it's not the style most people use when they want to make things happen or when they want to change something.
That's right. Other styles are more suited for those situations, like Style 2, for example, which we call control talk. There are actually two kinds of control talk. We call them light control talk and heavy control talk. Listen to this.
Take half a cup of warm water, and it has to be warm water. If it's not warm enough, the yeast won't activate. But if it's too warm, it'll kill the yeast.
Okay.
So it has to be kind of like in the middle, a little on the
Lukewarm.
hot side. Well, a little hotter than that.
All right. Write out a list of everything we need, and so that I know.
Well, do you want instructions? Do you want a list of just what you need, or do you want instructions? I mean, how do you want it? I've got
Okay.
a recipe card.
Okay, that would be fine.
But that doesn't tell you, the fine points of how to do it.
Well, just, if there are any fine points that I don't seem to have absorbed, write them down, okay? But what I'm asking for, if you would, is make sure all the ingredients are someplace central, because otherwise I'll look, I won't be able to find the sugar, or the oil will be not where it used to be or something.
That's light control talk, and it's used when giving everyday kinds of orders and instructions. People need this style when taking charge and seeing that things get done.
With this style, you are using authority in a generally accepted way. But there's a problem that sometimes occurs. What sounds like a normal request to one person may sound like an unfair demand to somebody else.
Right.
When the listener isn't willing to go along, conflict or even a power struggle may happen. And that's where you get into the second kind of control talk.
Look, listen to me for a minute.
I get home.
Would you shut up and listen to me? Shut up. Listen.
All right. Say something.
Okay, listen. Maybe I'm home until noon, but do you know what I do until noon? I take care of the kids. I do the washing. I mean, would you think all this is done by magic?
Hey, look,
and
look,
then,
look.
on top of that, I have to go out and work.
You're the one who talked me into buying that TV. You tell me what you've been doing.
Now it's my fault to buy the TV. Oh, yes. Now you're going to blame it on me for the TV.
Hey, you asked for it. I didn't want to go spend $700 for a lousy TV.
No, I wanted to buy a little TV, but you had to have the best. If we're going to buy a TV, we might as well get the best there is.
Well, what's wrong with that?
I'm just saying that you cannot blame all of the financial troubles on me.
Look, I'm not blaming all of them, but when the checkbook is all screwed up, what am I supposed to do?
You blame me, because I'm the only one that takes care of it, because you don't do anything around this house. You don't bring enough money in, you don't take care of the finances, you do nothing.
Sound familiar? We call that heavy control talk. It's the way you talk when you're angry and you're attacking others, or when you're defending yourself from their attacks. There's usually a threat to your self-esteem.
You can tell this style by just the words that are used. Words such as should, ought, have to, always, never, right, wrong, good, bad, and so on. You hear a lot of these.
It's easy to recognize and respond to the anger of others and get caught up in a conflict. And many times we do this without ever realizing that beneath the anger is a lot of hurt or disappointment or even desperation. In this series, we want to help you learn how to go beyond the anger and look at the deeper feelings that lie at the heart of many conflicts.
That's right. Heavy control talk isn't the style you'd hang on to if you want a good relationship with your spouse, your children, or at work for that matter.
I should say not. Couples who use this style try to win at each other's expense. Just like the name implies, it is a control style. And let's face it, most of us don't like to be controlled.
Regrettably, this style is often used because couples either don't know how or don't want to talk out their differences.
But there are two other ways of talking about important things. The first is called search talk. It's a way of stepping back for a minute and looking at what's going on.
Let's decide now, or let's talk about that now, so that we don't have that.
Okay, I think it's great to start talking about it now, but I think we may have to talk about it week after week.
Mm-hmm.
And with that many people driving the car, I think we're going to have to schedule it. Probably not unlike a rental car.
I don't see it. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. Simply finding a car and purchasing it. I mean, I think that's going to be the easy part of it. I think it is going to be harder to maintain a comfortable relationship around it as we deal with it afterwards, around the access things we've talked about a little bit. And then how are we going to maintain it?
I agree that those are problems, that those are not only here and now problems, but potential problems. And I think a good way to move with that would be for you and I to talk about, for example, what I want for me and what I want for you. And I may have to struggle with that for a while.
Okay, that's
and
good.
If you'd be willing to do the same.
Sure.
Does
Yeah,
that fit?
you bet. First, I would like you to have a reliable way, and also a relatively cost-efficient way, to drive the 50 miles that you will drive a couple of times a week at least to where you work. And I don't have any trouble with that. You know, I would see that as kind of the top priority for now, at least, as far as how the car gets used.
That's a real possibility.
Okay.
Search Talk, or Style 3, is tentative. It asks questions, looks at causes, and poses solutions without any commitment to them. It's a way of seeing what's behind something and what might be done about it. This style deals with an issue intellectually, but with little emotion or commitment.
With this style, there's heavy use of words such as probably, possibly, maybe, sometimes, perhaps, could, might, and so on. While Search Talk is good for coming up with ideas and expanding options, it may not get to the core of an issue or resolve anything.
Uh-huh. And that's where you need the next style, which we call Straight Talk.
I want you to acknowledge that I am a person.
You know, I know the frustration and the anger that you feel, but it just seems like no matter what happens, it doesn't help. It doesn't change the situation. You know, I've tried various things. Is there something you could suggest that, you know, might help out there?
I very much need to feel that I am important enough for you to acknowledge my presence. I would like to be able to, you know, work through this so that I can myself learn to find a more acceptable outlet for my anger without feeling like you have totally rejected me because I have gotten angry.
Can I share something just for a minute? I would like you to know that I do have a profound love for you, and that because we handle our anger differently doesn't mean that my way is right or your way is, you know, wrong. But there are definitely two different ways of handling anger, and I would like somehow to be able to communicate these things.
I want you to know how much I appreciate your telling me of your love. It's very important to me to know that you care.
I just sense so many things that go on, just creating some of those emotions and things that cause the, you know, the anger and the upsetting things.
I think many times I react rather than listening to what you're saying, to sometimes what the kids are saying, and then I am consumed with the guilt that I feel because of my inability to contain my temper, and thereby I am blocking any chance of further communication, which is the thing that I didn't want to do in the first place.
I don't know if I understood what you just said. Did you say that because of the guilt you feel because of some things that are happening, that those are the things that you feel are blocking the communication?
That's true.
Well, I really, you know, sense the guilt, you know, and the anger and the frustrations, and that's why I'm quiet, because a lot of times I just don't know how to deal with those things.
I'm looking from you is just acceptance of what I am doing, that it's vital, that it's real.
Straight talk isn't often used in everyday conversations. Compared to other styles, it gets to the core of issues, and it deals with differences, tensions, and sensitive matters without blaming or demanding or defending.
It may be best to describe Straight Talk by comparing it with Control Talk. In Control Talk, you speak for others, telling them what to do, telling them what they're thinking, and so on. In Straight Talk, however, you speak for yourself. You look at issues in terms of how you experience them, what you think about them, how you feel, what you want to do about them, and what action you're willing to take.
Straight talk also involves helping your partner to do the same thing. You invite him or her to share the same kinds of information, and then you participate together in working through the issue.
There are specific skills involved in using this style which most couples have to learn before they are able to use them comfortably, and we'll be discussing them later.
You know, all 4 styles have a time and a place. Each is necessary for connecting with others in different situations. But most of us have grown up hearing and learning just small talk and troll talk. And so we naturally tend to use these 2 styles.
Even though we become aware of the problems caused by heavy control talk, we still use it in times of stress or disagreement simply because we don't know a better way.
Search talk, and particularly straight talk, offer an alternative. The skills involved in straight talk will be discussed in the next 3 tapes.
In tape 2, we'll present a tool and some skills which will help you learn how to become more aware of your own feelings and intentions. And just as important, you'll also learn how to share them with your spouse.
In tape 3, we'll be talking about how to listen to your partner's experiences. And then tape 4 will put all of the skills introduced in this series together to show you how to enrich your marital relationship. Before listening to the next tape, however, we'd like you to open Talking Together and read Chapter 3.
Chapter 3 contains additional information on each of the 4 styles of communication. As you read the chapter, you might want to play this tape again to help you become acquainted with each style. The exercises at the end of the chapter will also be helpful. You'll be asked to reflect on how you use the styles in various situations and consider ways in which they might be better used.
I think it's important to remember that when we're talking about styles or skills in communication, we're talking about more than just intellectual exercises or playing games.
What we're really talking about is learning how to express the feelings of your heart, of being honest and open, and developing an attitude that will help build and strengthen your relationships with others.
When 2 people genuinely deal with the issues surrounding their marriage and work toward resolving problems and strengthening each other, a great sense of happiness and mutual fulfillment can often be experienced.
I think every conversation I ever had with my father and my mother was in a style 2. A few style ones, a little chit-chat, but mostly in giving and taking of orders and demands, and it's been really kind of exciting to discover that there's some other tools and skills that you can learn in communication.
Most of my adult life, if a problem arose or a conflict came on the scene, my biggest word was retreat and go run away and hide. And since learning these communication skills, it's given me some tools to work with so that now I can face the problem, and I know that it's given me the confidence I need to use what's inside of me.
The biggest thing I've learned is something I think is going to be ongoing. I learned how important the skills are and how important it is for me to learn even more.
Every human is a unique individual, and the communication skills have helped me learn patience and have helped me to realize that that unique individual can be communicated with and that it is possible to grow and develop to a higher sphere and plane.
Valid?
Perhaps. I need it to, in fact...
Maybe you didn't do me any favor.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I think
I think in your case we need to talk to a doctor. It'd be real important in your case because stopping alcohol use, in your case with your liver not functioning quite up to standard, and with the length of time that you've been drinking, and you drink quite a bit, there could be some health risks.
Mm-hmm. My father drank a lot more than I did for years.
Did he quit drinking or?
No.
No?
Mm-hmm. He had a stroke.
Father, I'm sure that was hard for you. What we need to deal with, though, here is you. And everybody's bodies are different. And everybody's situation.
I read an article a while back about this kind of thing running in families, and I wondered about my father and whether I learned to drink from him or whether I inherited some of his stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any chance that it could be a factor?
There's a strong possibility. Research today keeps pointing to the idea that there's a strong genetic predisposition to drug dependency, and there's just keeps showing a real high correlation between people who have drug addiction problems and someone else in their family, especially a parent having a drug problem. And so if your father was an alcoholic, it can really raise the chances of you having the same problem. And it looks as though that's true in your case here. I think alcohol is a problem for you. Alcoholism is a problem for you. It's a problem in your family, your work life, and your health. There's only one way to get cirrhosis of the liver, and that's by drinking too much. I think what we need to do at this point is maybe bring your wife in and a doctor in here to figure out some kind of a treatment plan for you. In your case, Bill, I don't have the information, the medical knowledge and background to know whether we could do this outpatient or not. In your case, it's real borderline, and I think we might have to figure up an inpatient plan for you to start with.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about it myself. I want to know about it.
Yeah. I'm sure you must have a million questions.
Yeah.
And you'll probably think of a lot more between now and the time that we get together again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to, in fact, why don't we set up the appointment now to meet, not tomorrow, but the next day, and at 3 o'clock with you, your wife, and our doctor here at the clinic.
I don't know if that's going to be possible. It's probably going to be 3 or 4 weeks before I can find time on my schedule again
I think you better come in earlier than 3 to 4 weeks.
I'm a really busy person.
I understand that. But it looks like you have some real important things at stake here, including your health.
And my wife's got a real busy schedule, too.
How about I call your wife and make the appointment with her?
You're persistent, aren't you? I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll make the appointment with your wife and for the day after tomorrow. And also.
I can't be here in the morning. I'm in court in the morning.
Okay. We'll make it in. I'll put it as late in the afternoon as we can.
Okay. Fair enough.
And we'll meet here with the doctor and see what we can work out for you that would be best for you.
Sounds like a wonderful idea. No, I mean, it's probably good.
Okay. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you can feel free to call here and ask, okay?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Gladys had told me that she wanted to go to the doctor for a special examination, and she was kind of concerned about it.
This examination was something they sometimes do in a hospital, but I had chosen to do it in the office if I could have my husband with me.
And she said, I want you to be there, go with me, and I said, fine. And a very important trip came up for my business. I said to Gladys, they want me to go on this trip.
I was so crushed. Here I had called and told him how much this meant to me.
And I actually thought that she was telling me it was all right for me to go. I was going along my merry way, making my preparations, very busy at work, didn't give too much thought to it. And so I told Gladys on my flights at a certain time, she says, well, you're not really going, are you? And I said, well, you said that would be fine.
I was just crushed. I was hurt that he would let me down.
Suddenly I realized that I had completely missed the signal. She wasn't telling me it was all right.
But I couldn't tell him that.
Just completely missed it.
All of us want to be understood, especially by the people we work and live with. And in marriage, where happiness and fulfillment depend so much on the kind of relationship we have, the need to be able to share feelings and clearly understand each other is doubly important.
You may remember in our last tape, we talked about the importance of sharing or disclosing sensations, thoughts, feelings, intentions, and actions, especially when important issues arise in a relationship. Equally important is helping your spouse feel that he or she can share all 5 facets of self-awareness with you. In this tape, we'd like to introduce you to some basic skills which will help you tune in to your partner.
Let's begin by discussing one basic element that's probably more important than all the subsequent skills that will be introduced. It has to do with attitude, the willingness to listen, the sincere desire to really understand and respect the thoughts and feelings of others as they speak to you. One way to translate this attitude of listening into action is to look at your intentions. Do you listen to your spouse with the intention of convincing him or her of your point of view? Or are you really trying to understand your partner? Are you pressing for agreement, or are you seeking to create mutual understanding?
Listen to the following 2 dialogues which illustrate these 2 different intentions.
It was with an understanding
Now,
that
wait
you
a
were going to do
minute.
those other things.
When I started to work, I talked that all over with you. What do you mean when you agreed? We agreed together.
But then
I mean, the children are grown.
I've been home. There's all those hours. There's those things I'm interested in doing.
But I didn't know your dad was going to become an invalid and you were going to take
Well,
on
neither
all
did
his
I.
responsibilities.
Neither did I. I mean, that happened after.
Yes, but you've just taken over your mother's role. You have become the mother, and she's the daughter, and she depends entirely on you.
Now, wait a minute. Don't forget the time I spent helping take care of your mother. I mean, that was a totally different situation. When it was your mother I was taking care of instead
That
of
was
my
just
own.
a short period of time, and she went back to my sister's, and that's all over with, and that's not a
Well,
problem
it isn't
anymore.
all over with. I mean, I took care of her for 5 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I had her for 5 weeks.
That was...
And my mother. I mean, what do you expect?
Well, I guess I expect you to get your priorities in order, and I don't think they are.
Now, here's the second discussion.
Last night, after you talked with Paul, you told me that you had invited him and Mary for the weekend. I was feeling upset, and it reminded me of something that happened about a month ago when we had Dave and Jane stay with us for the weekend, that there were I had some really bad feelings about what went on before that. And it turned out that it was more of a nerve-wracking time for me to have company than a pleasurable time.
Yeah, say more about what was nerve-wracking, would you? A month ago, I wasn't all that aware of it.
Well, there were lots of preparations to do. It just seemed like there wasn't time to do it all.
Yeah, I remember, the situation, that there was a lot of scramble. But I thought I pitched in. We did some menu planning and so forth, and I went out and bought things.
Well, one of the things was that you said that you would help with doing the shopping, and the way I saw that is that you would prepare ahead of time by going out before they came to do shopping. And what happened was it turned out that you waited until they got there, and so there was some kind of commotion.
So you wanted to have it done earlier, so they wouldn't have to do that when we were there.
That's right.
The first exchange used mainly style 2, control talk. Each partner was trying to persuade the other, shooting for agreement between them. Often, this intention is based on a belief that spouses should go through life thinking, feeling, and wanting the same things, when in fact, each of us is unique. We all have our own likes and dislikes, ideas and ways of doing things.
This drive to persuade others to see it our way is a barrier to achieving understanding. Many of us are already in the habit of listening with one ear, especially when talking about a subject we have definite feelings about. Instead of listening, we start to think about how we will respond, rehearsing what we plan to say. We need to suspend our thoughts or counter-arguments for the moment and tune into the other person.
And let's face it, unless others believe that you're going to respect what they have to say, they're going to be reluctant to share personal or sensitive information.
The second discussion used style 4 communication, straight talk. Both partners were trying to understand the other as well as they could.
What was particularly noticeable about their discussion was that they both used a number of good listening skills to help each other share their self-awareness. Now, let's look at some specific listening skills which encourage self-disclosure.
First, listen and observe attentively. Pay attention to all the sensory data coming to you. Your partner's facial expressions, body movement, posture, and breathing rate all convey messages, as well as the words he or she speaks and the tone, volume, and tempo he or she uses.
Use the awareness wheel to help you pay attention. Listen for sense statements, interpretations, feelings, intentions, and action statements.
And while you're listening, there is much more that you can do. You can let your spouse know you are with him or her by acknowledging what is being said.
You can acknowledge your partner's awareness by making brief comments which convey that you understand what he or she is experiencing.
And that's what I think I was bothered by, is thinking, well, then are you critical of our marriage? You know.
I see.
And not so much just about my parents, but I started thinking, it's kind of back to that same old thing of criticalness kills that excitement and joy in a relationship. And sometimes love is there, but because you're critical, you don't see it. And I guess that bothered me as I was thinking, well, are you only looking for the bad?
I know what you mean, because I've had those same feelings too. I know.
when I think that we don't really resolve the fact that we're going to be able to resolve it.
I see what you mean. Or make a commitment to resolve it.
Yeah, and I don't think the commitment always has to be where you say, well, we're going to do it at a certain time. Sometimes non-verbally we can send messages of confidence and goodwill.
Yeah.
That even though we're having a problem, that we know we'll be able to solve the problem later.
Mm-hmm. I think I understand what you're feeling, because what you're saying, because it happened a couple nights ago, I remember, and you said, I just wish we could disagree agreeably, you know.
Right.
Inviting disclosure is another powerful listening skill. It simply involves asking your partner to share more information with you. Whenever there are differences of opinion or tension, the natural thing to do is to react to whatever your partner says. By using this skill, however, instead of reacting, you invite your partner to tell you more.
You don't seem to notice that when things are going wrong, you don't seem to care. You don't seem too interested in our marriage or in our home. You're all wrapped up in what goes on over there in the office, in your practice, and you don't see what's happening here. You've got a problem, and you've got to listen.
Can you tell me some more about what you're feeling?
Yeah, sure, I'm upset. You forget it takes time to sit down and compose music. It takes time at the piano, and it takes work, and it takes concentration. And with all of the distractions that go on around here, just because I'm the one that does his work at home, and you have an office that you go to, then you're far away from all the problems that happen, and I'm the one that's here, Johnny, on the spot, and I've got to deal with everything, and it makes it terribly difficult to accomplish anything.
Okay, I see that you think you're not getting any of your work done because there are so many interruptions, as you put them.
Yeah.
You feel that I'm away so much that I don't take any of the responsibility for anything that goes on around here.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that maybe...
We don't have enough time together, you and I.
Tell me exactly what it is that you'd like to see changed, that you'd like to maybe the two of us sit down and talk things over and maybe change some things.
Okay.
Inviting does 3 things. First, it lets your partner know that you are really interested in what's being said. This encourages more openness because there's no need to worry about defending oneself.
Secondly, inviting helps you obtain a better understanding of your partner's experience. It's always easier to accept a different point of view when you clearly understand it.
And thirdly, inviting helps you and your partner discover new information, which leads to better decisions and helps to resolve issues. Let's listen to some other examples of inviting.
I got in the car again today and turned on the tape recorder, and loud and blaring at me was that music you listen to. You know how I feel about that music.
Tell me more. What do you think I should listen to?
I mean, I don't know, but that stuff is just trashy. It just is loud and blaring and
Well, tell me why you think it's trashy. I happen to like it.
What is that doing to you? We haven't talked about this very much, and I just need to know more about, is it really bothering you? I mean, is it kind of a peripheral issue, or is it something that's really concerning you?
It's central to my feelings about myself in every way.
Sometimes, husbands or wives say things but really don't give enough information for their partner to understand fully what is being said. Your partner may not tell you everything you would like to know, or perhaps the message you hear is confusing.
You can increase the information you are receiving by using the skill of checking out. This involves asking your partner to share one or more parts of his or her awareness with you.
You check out by asking open questions about specific parts of the awareness wheel, such as, what do you think? How do you feel? Where do you want to go?
Let's listen to some examples.
Honey, I'm really concerned about the way you start acting whenever we go to your mother's.
What do you mean? What do I do?
Well, whenever we get around your mother, you just start acting really blue and depressed.
Well, I'm not aware of any change, at least outwardly, that I go through when we visit. What is it that you see me doing or you hear me saying that makes you think that I become blue or depressed?
Well, when you see her, you start talking about all our problems and speaking as though nothing is going right, and this cloud of gloom just comes over you, and And even in the way you treat me sometimes isn't very nice when we get to your mother's.
How is it that I treat you?
All right, and you feel that it's not something that just faces you at that time, but do you also feel like when we go out together that it bothers you, or does it bother you when we're out together? Does it bother you when we're at social gatherings, we're out with our friends?
No, I'm not threatened socially. I'm,
Like any other skill, checking out can be misused or abused. One common misuse is to ask questions simply as a way of diverting attention away from yourself when there are issues or problems which you ought to be responding to.
Asking questions can also be a way of disguising statements about yourself. For example, you might say, "Don't you think it would be better if we both went to talk with Jenny's teacher?" instead of saying, "I want you to go with me to talk with him."
These closed or leading questions are designed to persuade or somehow move your partner to agree. They are not intended to gain information.
Use of the word why in a question can also backfire.
For example, a question like, "Why did you do that?" puts the other person on the spot and often draws a reaction. The other person feels challenged and called upon to justify or defend himself.
When you find yourself about to use the word why, restate the question so you can substitute what, where, how, who, or when. When did you do that? Or how did you do that? Or where did you do that? This will help you get better answers to your questions instead of just a reaction.
The last skill we'd like to talk about, which will help you tune into your partner, is what we call the shared meaning process. It involves stopping briefly in your conversation to make sure you and your partner are accurately understanding something that was said.
It occurs in two different ways. When you want to be sure you understand your partner accurately, you can begin the shared meaning process by saying something like this: "That sounds important to me. Let me make sure I've got it right."
Here's an example of shared meaning started by a receiver.
I'm concerned about the trip that's coming up next week.
I'd like to know what your concerns are.
Well, I was really looking forward to it until I found out the other day that my sister and her husband are going, and I'm afraid that that's going to be too many people in one house.
What you're saying is important, and I've been concerned about that too. Is your concern that there'll be too many in the home, or that the kids won't get along with each other, or what?
I'm concerned about there being too many children, about there just being too many people. That'll make a lot of commotion in the house, and I had looked forward to this being a relaxing vacation for us, and with that many people in one house, I really wonder whether or not we ought to just stay home.
So you're saying you'd almost like to cancel out and then do it another time?
That's the way I feel when I think of being there with that many people.
Okay, let me make sure that I've got everything that you're saying then.
Okay.
It's mainly just the kids, being too many people in the house, and you're afraid rather than being a relaxing experience with everybody there that will be just too much.
Yes, there's always conflict when we get too many people all together at once.
Sometimes you may want to be sure that your partner understands you accurately. Then you start a shared meaning about your own message. Here's an example of this.
I've been giving some thought to something that perhaps you do not have the same understanding of the meaning as I do, because when I say I'd like a close, intimate relationship with you, sometimes I have the thought that you think that I'm talking about a physical intimacy or closeness, and I'm really talking about sharing all areas of our life together and being closer in all areas of our life. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, you want to not only have intimacy in the physical, but in what we are experiencing separately in our thoughts, in our work, and in our relationships with others.
I feel satisfied with the fact that we share an enjoyable life together. But what I'm asking for is more of it, because we're going to have more time together. And I'm getting concerned about what it is that we're going to share base our intimacy and our sharing on now that the children are out of the picture, so to speak. Do you understand what I'm trying to say now?
You're concerned about we're going our separate ways and not sharing things like we did when we had our family close by, and that you'd like to develop some things together now that we can share and grow together in.
Right.
The shared meaning process is a way of summarizing messages accurately. Reserve it for those times when something important is being said and you and your partner want to make sure that you are really accurate.
In this tape, you have been introduced to several communication skills, some of which may seem unfamiliar and perhaps even a bit awkward to you, especially when you first try to use them. Each of these skills is discussed in Talking Together, and exercises have been provided to help you learn how to use them. We would encourage you to read Chapter 2 and complete the activities.
While you may feel a little uncomfortable at first as you try out the skills, continued practice will bring confidence. And remember that you can do much to help or hinder each other. You can either respond to the efforts of your spouse as he or she uses these methods with kindness and an accepting attitude, or you can quickly discourage him or her by being critical or by making comments about what's being done.
In closing, let's listen to an example involving the use of all of the skills we've talked about in the last 2 tapes. As you listen, try to identify both the self-disclosure skills discussed previously and the listening skills discussed here.
Nothing specific has to happen. Well, maybe something does to kind of snap me into a not so much depressive mood, but as a subdued mood. And, and I notice too that it can happen just like that.
I've noticed your moods change that fast. It's frustrating for me to see that happen because I want to put my finger on exactly what happens for you.
Uh-huh.
What makes you change or feel differently.
Uh-huh.
And therefore I feel frustration in that.
What kind of frustration do you feel? Tell me.
I guess mostly I kind of feel, I do take it personally. I'm beginning to realize, though, that, it doesn't always have to be someone or something that does it. And yet it's hard for me to understand because that doesn't happen to me.
Yeah. I think that if, as I step back and look at it, I can imagine that it would be kind of frustrating to you.
Do you feel like the changes in your mood are good? I mean, is it beneficial to you to feel that way? Or what happens during that time? Is it productive?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
I guess more, do you have control over it? Can you get yourself out of it when that happens? Or is the mood good for you? Does something good happen during that time when you're contemplating? Because that's how I've, looked at it a lot in the past. It's just like sometimes you're just way off. It's almost like I can't reach you.
Yeah, I think that maybe maybe it happens on 2 levels. I've got the one that's down on me mood, and I get curt, and the other mood is just, I guess I don't want to be, joking around anymore. I just want to be
left alone.
Well, not so much left alone as mellow. Do you understand that?
Yeah, it's important to me that I know exactly how you're thinking and feeling so that I can better understand your moods and react to you better.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that when you get in these moods, you feel, you're not angry, you're not upset, but you're depressed.
Well, I'm not angry, I'm not upset, that's right, but it's not so much depressed. I'm not really depressed. It's more of just reserved. I don't feel sad. I don't feel sorry or anything. I just feel more almost, laid back and relaxed, almost relaxed. I mean, just reserved, subdued. Maybe I don't want to, talk as much, but I'm not angry and I'm not depressed.
Okay, so it's not even a depression. It's more of just a quiet, subdued mood.
Yeah.
You don't feel like communicating or talking.
Yeah.
So it'd be best if maybe I just, left you alone during that time. and just knew that you were okay, and then I could feel better about it.
That might be a good way to handle it.